Everyone should be able to do the splits. Of course not. But I think we can all remember a time when we were younger where moving in big ranges of motion felt easy, unobstructed, and good for the body. So most people try stretching to get some of those old feelings back, but it just doesn't work like the guy on the YouTube video said it would, right? And the reason why is there's this one big foundational piece of stretching that most people miss. So today I want to give you this one key piece built into 3 different mini routines that when you combine them will open up the whole body. But really you could use this recipe for any stretch. Let's start out with one of the best hamstring stretches, the single leg good morning. Let's take a look. We're going to start out in a stagger stance. The front leg is the stretching leg. The back leg is just there for balance. Think of it as a kickstand. Now we're going to lock that front knee, arch the lower back, and then we lower torso towards the ground to get our hamstring stretch, and then press back out. Now, you can use a little bit of weight attached to the chest for assistance. It might give you a little extra encouragement to go deeper into the stretch. Let's get started with this recipe. Step 1 is repetitions. The enemy of flexibility is tension. What stops you from being flexible is that through many years of living your specific life, your body has created a way of moving that feels comfortable and safe. When you start to reach the end of that comfortability, your nervous system subconsciously tells your body to create tension to stop you from going further. Sometimes it's warranted, maybe you've had an injury, but most of the time it's just that you haven't told your body that that position is safe because you've avoided it for many years. That's one of the main reasons we start with repetitions. You get a chance to move in and out of the position, teaching your nervous system that the position isn't big and scary, it's actually quite safe. So step 1 is to do 10 repetitions of the stretch, moving into the deepest stretch you can, and then pushing your body back out using the muscle that you're actually stretching. In this case, it's the hamstring. And on each subsequent repetition, you're trying to get a bit deeper. Now, it's important to take note of where you feel the tension, both on the way in and on the way out, because we'll use this later. And another big reason we like repetitions is it gives you the opportunity to fatigue the muscle you're stretching, which actually helps reduce tension. Step 2 is to relax. Now, if you've ever taken a yoga class, I'm sure you've heard the instructor say, just relax, man. And you're like, oh, I'm trying. But this is the key piece that everyone misses, is learning how to relax. So I'm gonna give you some insight on how to do that. So on that last rep, your 10th rep, you're gonna pause in your deepest stretch for 30 to 60 seconds. Now your goal is to imagine that that tension that you took note of earlier is dissolving. For this to happen, you have to relax your nervous system, which is most easily done through the breath. Focus on breathing into your belly rather than your chest and neck, and relax your face. You're signaling to your nervous system that it doesn't need to be ramped up because there are no threats. And this is distinct from lifting weights. When you're deadlifting, you have to perceive that bar, that weight, as a threat to ramp up your nervous system to lift it. Relaxation is the opposite of lifting. How can you release or let go of what's holding you back? Now, I've got a funny story with this one. My groins have always been the tightest part of my body. Now, no one taught me this recipe, but I kind of figured it out one day. I had been stretching for about a year with little to no success, but I was in a butterfly stretch and I focused on letting go. And then all of a sudden, my knees dropped to the ground and I started convulsively laughing and crying at the same time. It was so embarrassing. Now, this is gonna sound a little woo-woo, but it felt like years of shame and trauma and guilt were pouring out of my body in that moment, which is why I think flexibility training is so important. It's a practice of letting go. But I'll get off my soapbox and we'll get to the final stage. Step 3 is to use the range. So you created some space, you got into some new range of motion. So what? It doesn't matter until it's usable. You have to reintegrate it back into your whole body. So following the stretch, you do something that involves active flexibility, meaning you have to create enough tension to get your body into the same position rather than using assistance or gravity. This is where we like using basic functional movements to get your body to become receptive of this new range. So after you're done stretching both sides, you'll do a bear walk. Start on your hands and knees. lift your tailbone up to the sky as high as you can, pushing your chest towards your feet, and then dropping the heels towards the ground, keeping that back as flat as you can. Then we simply move opposite arm and leg, trying to keep that tailbone lifted and chest low to the ground. This gets you using your hip flexors to pull your thigh closer to your torso, teaching your body how to use that new range of motion. Now let's take a look at some other stretches, starting with the hang. Hanging is one of the best stretches to open up a majority of the muscles of the upper body, but sometimes it's hard to know how to let go of the tension in your pecs and lats to actually get the right stretch. But we can use this same recipe. Step 1, grab onto a bar. You may want your feet on the ground to give you a bit of assistance here. Pull the shoulders down away from the ears, driving tension to the lats and pecs. And now relax the shoulders up to the ears. Each time you pull, feel where the tension is so that you know where you want to relax when you sink again. And of course, each rep, try to sink a little bit deeper. Step 2, on that 10th rep, hold for 30 to 60 seconds. It's extremely important to focus on breathing into the lower parts of your rib cage, especially the low back. Don't let the ribs flare up when you inhale. Breathe into your back and sides of your rib cage. Step 3. It just so happens that the bear walk is also the perfect movement to pair up with hanging. Driving the shoulders open on each step is teaching your body how to reach your arms overhead and then loading them in that open position. A nice little couplet here is to do your hamstring stretching, then you're hanging, and then finish it with bear walks. Next stretch is the butterfly, the best way to open up the groins. Sit up against a wall using as many props as you need to feel comfortable. Take some dumbbells and set them on the knees. Step 1, do 10 repetitions, lifting the weights, and then slowly lowering the knees towards the ground. Step 2, on that 10th rep, hold for 30 to 60 seconds, focus on breathing and relaxing. Step 3, we'll use the squat. Sit down into the squat, holding onto something in front of you for support, and lifting the heels as much as you need to feel comfortable. Drive your knees out by squeezing your glutes, claiming that new range you've created in your groins. Now let's work on the ankles by doing something you've probably all done, a basic calf raise. Do 10 repetitions, really focusing on allowing the heels to drop down as far as you can each rep. Step 2 is, of course, holding in that deepest stretch for 30 to 60 seconds. And then the nice thing is step 3 is actually using the squat. So again, we can pair up the groin stretch with the ankle stretch and then finish with squatting. The couch stretch is the best way to open up your quads and hip flexors that get stiff from sitting all day. So go into your conventional couch stretch, either using a couch or a wall, but this is where it gets interesting. To do repetitions of this, you're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna go into the stretch, but then you're gonna push against the couch or the wall to drive you back out. And so you'll go into the stretch and push out using your quad to actually get that quad working under tension. Step 2 is to go into that deepest stretch and try to relax. The relaxation is really tough with this one because you have to keep your core active, but you can still focus on breathing into your back here. Let's table step 3 because it's gonna pair up nicely with the next stretch. And that next stretch is the German hang, the best way to open up the fronts of the shoulders that get stiff from sitting at a computer all day. Step 1, put your hands on a countertop or a bar behind you, and then slowly lower your hips towards the ground, opening up the chest. To do the repetitions here, you're gonna actually actively push down against that object to lift you back up. Step 2 is to relax deep into that stretch, and it can really be helpful here to think about opening the chest. Step 3, the one that pairs up nicely with the couch stretch, is a crab lift. Sit on your butt on the ground and put your hands right next to your hips. Lift your hips up as high as you can, pushing through the shoulders and with the glutes to lift your hips higher and higher. It can be nice to spend time here or to do repetitions in and out. So you can see that this recipe works everywhere with any stretch. My recommendation is to choose 2 or 3 areas of your body that you know need some flexibility love, and then do these for 2 to 3 rounds, each time getting a little bit further. and then do this twice a week. And remember, the nervous system needs to relax. So use soft cushions to make you feel comfortable, put on some soft music, and come in with a soft mentality. Tell us in the comments what your experience with stretching is, if you think this will be helpful, and what stretches you're gonna try this on. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.